A very good evening. It is the 27th day of November 2024. We do appreciate your company here at the Uganda Catholic Television. I am Sunday Gloria Abwatch with the Wednesday edition of Uctv News. Government has launched plans to phase out fuel-powered motorcycles and replace them with electric motorcycles by 2027 as part of its electrification strategy, according to Dr. Cosmas Mwichirize, the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation's Superintendent for Industrial Value Chains Development. 4,000 electric border borders have already been rolled out across the country. This initiative aligns with the e-mobility system outlined in the current national manifesto, aimed at transforming public transport through sustainable energy solutions.
So the first promise is to ensure that we stopped working in silos, because science doesn't work in silos. So it's adoption of a multi-sectoral approach to implementing STI in the nation. So everything we are touching involves all key stakeholders, and this includes stakeholders from government MDAs, from the private sector, from institutions of higher learning, development partners, etc. And so we implement what we call the wheel and spoke model, where the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat is in the middle, but it's playing a coordination role to ensure that all the partners that are relevant to implementation of STI move in sync. And as you can see, it's also enshrined in the mandate that has been given to us. We are supposed to coordinate and facilitate all of those players to ensure that we deliver on all the promises. I'll now give you an practical example of how this has been implemented. A year ago, we started working on the e-mobility strategy for the nation, and this is supposed to be a blueprint to guide all our actions towards implementing electric mobility interventions over the next 15 years in the nation. And so we brought together more than 80 stakeholders across government, across the private sector, and from the development partner community. And these players got together and developed this ecosystem. They developed the e-mobility strategy. The ecosystem itself is in 6 clusters, ranging from R&D engineering, energy, transportation planning and management, value chain financing, regulation, and digital infrastructure. This strategy has been approved by the relevant interministerial committee, and it's available. It's available online through that QR code. Now, because we brought all the relevant players in the room, in 1 month after launching the strategy, we were able to get commitment of $800 million towards the implementation of this strategy. Now, this strategy aims to make Uganda a net source of e-mobility solutions. And we have ambitious targets. We want to have a full transition of public transport to electric mobility by 2030. And so the mission is a robust, self-sustaining, and competitive e-mobility ecosystem for the nation. I'll show you some of the focus areas of this strategy. We have local EV manufacturing, we have battery manufacturing, we have electrification of public transport, and many others. And we have already taken concrete steps in implementing most of these interventions.
Now, the increasing cases of land evictions across the country remain a significant challenge in the implementation of government programs. This, according to the Minister of State for Urban Development, Obiga Kania, at the Office of the Prime Minister during the NRM Manifesto Week, that he highlighted additional obstacles, including encroachment on government land and protected areas, the growth of slums, informal settlements, and inadequate funding.
Dealing with the land fragmentation and poor land use practices. This particularly related to the issue of physical planning. which is a new phenomenon in Uganda, and our biggest challenge has been to make sure that Ugandans accept that in the light of heavy urbanization, in the light of a huge employment in the population, you have no other opportunity if you want to use your land best other than to do physical planning, whether it is in the urban areas or in the rural areas. And we have done the following. Number one, we have developed the National Physical Development Plan 2021 to 2040. This is the first time that Uganda is having what we call a National Physical Development Plan. And its implementation action plan was also launched in April, that it must now be implemented this year. The National Development Plan guides on developments and human settlements in the country, both rural and urban. We've also developed specific 13 physical development plans for Kamuli, Busia, Mubende, Mitiana, Entebbe, Ntungamo, Rukungiri, Kabale, Apache, Lugazi, Kotido, and Kutgum municipal councils. We have supported the districts of Kabale, Kabarole, Amudat, Chikube, Rukungiri, Bunangabo, Wakiso, Noea, Bududa, and Moroto in the cities of Jinja, Gulu, and Arua to develop physical development plans in order to guide orderly development. We have prepared physical development plans for the 11 refugee hosting districts of Terego, Madi, Arua, Terego, Madi Okolomoyo, Yumbe, Obongi, Kiriadongo, Lamoa, Jumani, Isingiro, and Kamwenge. We have developed physical development plans for 568 parishes and 113 sub-counties to support parish development model implementation in the districts of Oyam, Maracha, Terego, Apache, Kamuli, Isingiro, Ibanda, Chikube, Sema, Namtumba, Luka, and in Tungamo. We have developed physical planning standards and guidelines to guide land use in the country. These standards are aimed at making sure that in the long run, physical development plan is done at the local level. You don't always have to look at the sender. And we have done all this. Now we are dispersing the whole country. We carried out sensitization and public awareness on sustainable land development in some areas of the country. The challenges we faced in the implementation of the manifesto. Number one, increase the land evictions. You've seen our ministers always fighting in the media, recorded fighting in the media about land evictions by various categories of people. I don't need to mention who is evicting who, but it's all over the country. This is a big challenge, but we are equal to the task. And sooner or later, because of what I've read, we shall overcome.
The Directorate of Public Prosecutions, DPP, has recovered over 13 billion Uganda shillings from prosecuted corruption cases, according to Robert Kasande, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Speaking during the ongoing NRM Manifesto Week at the Office of the Prime Minister in Kampala, Kasande revealed that 774 corruption and related cases have been prosecuted, with 260 cases concluded at an average conviction rate of 85%. He also noted that 77 public servants convicted of corruption have been dismissed and barred from holding public office for the next 10 years.
By strengthening the investigative and prosecution machinery, again here, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions was able to implement investigative and prosecution machinery And this has contributed in the fight against corruption in the following ways. They have prosecuted 774 corruption and corruption-related cases and concluded 260 cases at an average conviction rate of 85%. In doing this, they have been able to recover a total of 13.25 billion shillings from the cases of corruption that they have prosecuted. They have also raided the public service of 77 public servants convicted of corruption and barred from holding public office for 10 years. And strengthening the juvenile justice system, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has been involved in cases that involve children who are in contact with the law, and children in conflict with the law. Those who are in contact, if their parents are under prosecution, those are in contact with the law, but also those who are juveniles who are in conflict with the law have been prosecuted. In doing this, child-friendly spaces have been established in 14 regional offices that you can see there on the screen. Among them, Kampala, Lira, Gulu, Soroti, Mbale, Jinja, Mukono, Masaka, Mbarara, Kabale, Bushenyi, Fort Portal, and Hoima. These spaces, ladies and gentlemen, have amenities for children and are used to accommodate and prepare child victims and witnesses for court. We have found this very useful in areas where I have been, where I've seen they are very helpful to the clients of court. Resource materials have also been developed for reference by stakeholders when handling child-related cases. These include a handbook on prosecuting child-related cases, prosecutor pre-bargain guidelines, and gender-based violence training manuals.
Thank you for watching UCTV News. We are going to take a very short break and we'll return with more stories.
UCTV, good news for all.
Radio Purchase, the best value-based community radio in Eastern Africa, running 24/7 with professional staff and solar energy backup of up to 500 kilowatts peak. We rock the whole of northern Uganda and the world using 7 languages on 90.9 FM and 94.5 FM in Arua on Ediofe Hill, 99.7 FM at Moyo on Adua Hill, 101.4 FM at For God in Gulu, and online at www.radiopurchase.org or download the Radio Purchase app from Google Play Store and Apple Store. Radio Purchase, peace of Christ for all.
Welcome back. UCTV continues. The State Minister for Animal Industry, Bright Rwamirama, is advocating for a mindset change among youths to ensure that they become more productive instead of being consumers in the agricultural sector as the country transitions from subsistence to commercial agriculture. Honorable Rwamirama said this while presenting the ministry's report on the implementation of the manifesto pledges, strategic guidelines and directives of 2021-2026 political term.
The challenge is the mindset change of our community, which we are working on. I've been at pain to see young men going to do dirty jobs outside. And yet we have very productive land. Here there are crops you can grow and which are not labor intensive and still earn money. Citrus is one of them. Apiary. In my report, I talked briefly about apiary. But you know, we are endowed with the natural forests. Here you can do apiary. It is not labor intensive. the honey is correct, the bees collect the honey, you only need to harvest. We have had our farmers having a MOU with the Wildlife Authority and Forest Authority, and we have supplied them with hives. We are exporting organic honey. A week ago, our honey was identified as one of the best honey in Africa. So, there is a lot to do here. Even people running here in town looking for quality jobs. So one of the challenges is mindset change. People think they can only be employed by government. You cannot employ yourself. Some of us parents are not giving our children land for production. You are sending them to look for jobs. And yet, you have 2 square miles. They are just there. The cows are roaming there. Instead of actually selling some of them and buying a tractor and tilling the land and feeding the cows and making them more. We need to change. It's a continuous process.
And that's all time we had for you this Wednesday evening. Thank you very much for being a part of UCTV News. I am Sunday Gloria Watch, and I wish you a very good night.